there, Dave from Guitar Zero to Hero, and in this video I'll be teaching you how to play Black Magic Woman by Santana, originally written by Peter Green of Fleetwood Mac. Now this one is actually a special request from my parents, love you mum and dad, which makes it even more fun to teach. Now just a quick note before we dive in, this lesson is on the single version of Black Magic Woman, not the Gypsy Queen version, but they are quite similar. Now in this lesson, I'll walk you through the iconic lead lines and rhythm parts. You'll simply need your guitar in standard tuning. Now I do want to be upfront, the lead guitar parts in this song can be a bit challenging if you're brand new to guitar and if you're a beginner, but I'd still encourage you to give it a shot. You'll still learn a lot by having a go and working through the phrases slowly. But if you are brand new to lead guitar and you want a bit more structured guidance, then make sure you check out my lead guitar jumpstart course, which is designed specifically for beginners who want to confidently learn how to play lead guitar without feeling overwhelmed. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. All right, let's jump in. All right, in terms of guitar tone, I'm using a high gain amp and I've just added some reverb as well. I'm also using the neck pickup on my Les Paul here. You could alternatively use a clean guitar channel and add a distortion or overdrive pedal in for it. I'll leave a link to my Boss Katana patches in the description below. Okay, let's dive into the intro, and there's 4 lines of tab here. We're gonna start with the 8th fret of the 2nd string, and I'm gonna play this with my ring finger, and I'm gonna pull off to the 6th fret, like that. Now, when you pull off, you wanna flick your ring finger in a downwards direction, and that way you'll get that second note ringing out quite nicely. So a quick pull off there, and that rings out for essentially 2 bars. Now in the second bar on the end beat after the 4, we're going to take our middle finger and put on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. Alright, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now we're going to slide this up to 9th fret and back down to 7th. Alright, so that's the next lick. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Now basically the very end of the 4th bar, we're going to go back to the 6th fret of the 2nd string, pluck this, and do a hammer on and pull off onto the 8th fret, like that. And we basically hold this out for another 2 bars. For the 2nd bar on the end beat after the 4, we're going to go back up to the 8th fret, and then middle finger onto the 7th fret of the 3rd string. This starts on the 3rd bar, we're going to pluck it, slide up and slide down. And that's held out for the next 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. All right, for the 3rd line of tab, we're going to go up to the 19th fret of the 4th string, hit it, and after you hit it, just release your finger. We don't need to hold on to this note. So pluck it and let it go. Do the same at 17th, and then we're going to go down to 15th. We're going to pluck this and slide it down to 14th fret and hold that out. So those 3 plucks. For the 3rd and 4th bar, we're going to do something similar in terms of rhythm, but different notes. So we'll start at 17th, then 15th, and then pluck 14th fret and slide down to 12th. So the 3rd line of tab. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3, 4. For the 4th line of tab, the first 3 bars are almost the same, but for this 3rd bar, when we go 17th, 15th, we're going to pluck 14th and not slide it down to 12th. We're just going to pluck it, release it, and that's it for that bar. So the 3rd bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And for the 4th bar, we're going to play a D minor bar chord. So it's a minor bar chord shaped like this. So you're going to have to bar your index finger across the entire 10th fret, and the ring and pinky fingers go on the 12th frets of the 5th and 4th string. Now this starts on the end beat after the 1. We're just going to pluck from the 6th string to the 1st string at 8th notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that's it for the 4th line of tab, which sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's everything for the intro. If you want to see it in context, then go to the playthrough at the end of this lesson. Next, we get to solo number 1. This whole solo is basically built off of the D minor scale. We're going to start on 10th fret of the first string. Now this is on the 2 beat, so 1 and 2, 13th fret of the second string. Now we're then going to bend it up, and this is a pre-bend. So have it pre-bent, pluck, release, and then pull off to the 10th fret. All right, so there's a few movements involved there. Pre-bend, pluck, release, and pull off. I've only plucked that note once as well. We're gonna go back to the 13th fret, pluck it, bend up a full tone, slowly release, and then another quick pull off to the 10th fret. All right, so that's the first lick in total, which again starts on the 2 beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now when it comes to bending, it is a good idea to use not only your ring finger, but your middle finger to help push the string up. If you're just using a ring finger by itself, you're not going to get a lot of strength. So using your 2 fingers, you get a lot more leverage. Place your thumb on top of the neck, and you almost want to push your fingers up to the top of your thumb. That's going to give you a lot more strength than just having your thumb to the side, one finger, and trying to bend like that. So place your thumb over the top and try to push your fingers up to your thumb. When you first start practicing bends, yes, you're going to sound like a dead cat, but that's totally okay. It just takes constant practice. Over time, the muscle memory will develop so that your fingers will know where exactly to bend to hit the right pitch. So for the second lick, we're going to start on the end beat after the 1 with a bend on that 13th fret of the second string. So 1 and then we're going to go up to the 10th fret of the first string, 13th fret of the second, 10th, 12th fret of the third string. We're going to pluck that, and one more time with a quick bend and release. Pull off to 10th, so, and then slide. Bend, release, pull off, slide. Like that. There's a lot of fluid motions here, but just take it one bit at a time. Bend, release, pull off, slide. And that lick in total, 1 and a bit faster. 1. We're going to hold that 9th fret out for a full bar. For the final bar, we again start on the end beat after the 1. We're going to go 10th fret of the third string, 10th fret of the second, 13th, and then up to 12th fret of the first. Pluck that, and hammer on to 13th, and back to 12th on the end beat after 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so far for the first line tab. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. Now for the next lick, we're going to go up to the 13th fret of the first string. We're going to pull off twice to the 12th and then 10th fret. So like that, and then 13th fret of the second string, we're going to bend, release, bend, release. All right, so there's 2 bends, and they're quite quick. And after that, pull off to the 10th fret. So I've only plucked the note once. And that lick in total. For the next lick, we're going to start on the end beat after 1, go to the 13th fret of the second string, bend up a full tone. Then there's 3 notes after that, 10th fret of the first, 13th fret of the second, 10th fret, and so far. And then after that little chunk, we're going to go to 12th fret of the third string, bend, release, and pull off. And this lick in total, 1 and. For the next lick, 12th fret of the third string, 11th fret of the second, and then 10th fret of the first string. So it's like a set of stairs. Then 12th fret, 13th fret of the first string. We're gonna hit this and bend. All right, and that lick. To end this bar, we'll go up to 15th fret, hit this and release. And the second line of tab in total. For the third line of tab, we're going to go down to 13th fret, 15th fret of the second string, and then back up to 13th fret. So 1. And that happens on the end beat after the 1. So 1 and. Then we'll go up to 17th fret. We're going to bend this up 3 semitones. So that is a target pitch of the 20th fret. So you can play the 20th fret to get a reference. You want to bend up to that pitch. Like that. So after we've bent it up, you can slide it out and then hit the 10th fret of the first string. So, and the first 2 bars. Now for this final lick, we're going to go 12th fret of the 3rd string, bend and release, pull off, hammer on, back onto 12th. So I've only plucked once there, so it's just fluid motions with your fretting hand. Bend, release, pull off, hammer on, then up to 10th fret of the 2nd string, 12th fret of the 3rd, 10th fret, hammer on and pull off, then 12th fret of the 4th string, and 10th fret of the 4th string, and so far. Then for the next bar, 12th, 10th, 12th fret of the 5th, 11th, 10th fret and slide down to 8th fret, right, and that bar. And to end this, we're going to go up to the 10th fret of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings. You're going to just hit all of them and you can slide out. And this third line of tab in total. 1. And that's it for solo 1, which will sound like this in total. Okay, now if you are playing along with the full version, the Gypsy Queen version, then after the intro solo, there's an organ solo section. Now rhythmically, that is just the D minor being played for pretty much 8 bars of music. You can use the exact same rhythms and strumming patterns that I teach you for the D minor in the upcoming verse. Now we get to verse number 1. Now, I'm going to show you 3 different ways of playing the verse, stepping up in complexity. So the first method's going to be just chords and basic strumming. No mutes, no nothing like that. Just really, really simple. It's a 12-bar progression. We're going to start with our D minor chord. Now you can play this D minor up here. And in terms of tone, I've just gone to a clean channel with some reverb. Or you can play a D minor chord here. It's completely up to you. I'm going to play this one. All right. Now we can just play this with a down, down, up, down, up, down, up strumming pattern. So an 8th note strumming pattern, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's D minor for 2 bars. And then we can go down to an A7. Some people like to play an A minor, which is the same as a D minor. But if you listen to the isolated guitar recording, Santana actually plays an A7 like this, which sounds quite interesting. So I'm going to play this A7 here for a more basic version. So it's the same as an F bar chord shape, but up at 5th and 7th frets, and we're going to lift our pinky finger. Right, we're going to play that for 2 bars of music. So the first line of chords. Second line of chords is D minor for 2 bars, and then G minor. So it's this exact same shape, just down at 3rd and 5th frets. So the second line of chords. The third line of chords is D minor, A7, and back to 2 bars of the D minor. So and in total, the easiest way of playing this verse rhythm will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's step it up in complexity. This is level number 2. We're going to add some mutes here to make things a bit more groovy, a bit more rhythmic. Essentially, we're keeping the same rhythmic direction with our strumming hand. It's still down, down, up, down, up, down, up. But what we're doing with our fretting hand is we're releasing on certain strums. Because we're playing bar chords, you can temporarily release the bar chord. By doing so, you're touching all of the strings. And that way, if you strum, it's muted. So it's a matter of just fretting and then not fretting to getting the strums. All right. So same rhythmic direction, but we are going to release on the end beat after the 2. So 1 and 2 and 3. So on the end 3, we are lifting our fretting hand. 1 and 2 and 3. And then on the end beat after the 3, push down. On the upstroke, on the next downstroke, lift, and then one more upstroke where we fret. So you'll see that in both the tab below, but also the strumming pattern annotation. The green strums I have highlighted are the ones that we want to mute. So down, down, up, down, up, down, up. So I would just practice that again and again to get it into your hands. All of the work is being done really by the fretting hand. Your strumming hand is doing the exact same pattern. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Right? Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And a bit slower. So we can apply that strumming pattern to all of the chords, same chord progression, and it will sound a lot funkier, and this is what we get. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, instead of this D minor, you can use this D minor. It makes it easier to actually shift to these lower chords as well. But personally, I'm going to stick to this D minor. It's just a matter of personal preference. Okay, now we're going to take it to level 3. This is closer to what Santana actually plays in the studio recording. So the first 2 bars of music are going to be the same as level 2. It's that rhythmic strumming. But then we're going to go to an A7 like this. So pivot around your ring finger, right? So keep that where it is. Middle finger will go 11th fret of the 4th string, pinky on the 12th fret of the 3rd. And if you want to, you can put your index finger on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So that's our A7, right? And we just want the 6th string muted there. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to focus on the bass note here, which is the 5th string. So down, and on the 2 beat, lift it, muted strum, and on the next upstroke, move your ring finger up to the 12th fret of the 6th string. Right, so down, down, up. And on the next up strum, you can hit the chord again, and on the final down, up, lift your fretting hand for a muted down, up strum. So down, down, up, down, up. The strumming pattern is down, down, up, down, up. but we are lifting our chord on certain strums and also changing that root note on our ring finger. Down, mute, up, down, up, down, up. We're gonna play that for 2 bars. In the first line of tab. For the second line of tab, we go back to the D minor for 1 bar. For the next bar though, this is where things change a little bit. So we're gonna start with the D minor and then lift your pinky, put it on the 13th fret of the 2nd string, strum those strings and then move it down to 12th fret. You can focus on the middle 4 strings and then lift it on the 3 and 4 beat. So now we're then going to shift down to the G minor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thumb over to hit that root note. So reach my thumb over to hit the 3rd fret of the 6th string and have my ring on the 5th fret of the 4th and index on the 3rd fret of the 2nd strings. So I'm going to hit the root and then I'm going to hit the 3rd and 4th strings and hammer on and pull off my pinky finger onto that 5th fret of the 3rd string. So 1 and 2 and on the 3 and beat, just strum that chord. On the 4th bar, we then hit the 5th fret of the 4th string and get your pinky finger into position on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. I'm going to strum this, move it down to 5th fret, and then lift your pinky finger and just bar your index finger across the 3rd frets of the 2nd and 3rd strings. And that's on the 3 and 4 beat. First half are triplets. Like that. So the second line of tab. For the third line of tab, we go back up to the D minor with a regular muted strumming pattern. Then the A that we had in the first line of tab. Then back to the D minor for 2 bars. Like that. So that's the most advanced version of verse number 3 that I'm going to teach you. It's not 100% the same as what Santana plays because he's really just improvising quite a lot. And I want to teach you something that's close to what he plays but is a bit more structured so it's easier to remember and learn. But this is the verse 1 in total, the most advanced version. This is what I'm going to play at the playthrough at the end of this lesson. But you can play the easier versions as well because it is just a simple chord progression at the end of the day. 1, 2, 3. Now verse 2, you could essentially play the same thing as verse 1 if you wanted, but I'm gonna add an extra lick here that you hear in the studio recording, which is a lot of fun to play. And it just happens at the start. So for the D minor, I'm just gonna focus on the 10th frets of the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. I'm gonna play mute, up, mute, up, mute, up, right? So mute, up, mute, up, mute, up. And again, to play the mutes, you can just lift your fretting hand and just make contact with all the strings. And then when you need those strings to ring out, then fret, all right? We do 3 of those mutes, 1, and 2, and 3, and then take your index finger, bar across the 9th frets of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, hit these, and then slide up to 10th fret. So 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and then everything else is more or less the same, except at the very end when we go back to this D minor, the last bar, I'm just gonna slowly build it up. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and then it moves into solo number 2. If you wanna see that all in context, go to the playthrough at the end of this lesson. Okay, next we get to solo number 2. Now to start this off, we're gonna bend the 13th fret of the 2nd string up, bend, pluck again whilst it's bent, and with your index finger, 10th fret of the 1st string. That's a little bit tricky because you're gonna have to bend and then reach to hit that 1st string at the same time. So this is where using your middle finger really comes in handy. Now after that 10th fret, we're gonna hit that 2nd string and bend up another time. All right, so. And in the next bar, hit that 13th fret, bend and release, pull off, and that's it. So the first lick in total. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. For the next lick, 13th fret of the first string, pluck this, pull off to 12th and 10th. 13th fret of the second string. This is a quick bend and release and pull off. Alright, so bend, release, pull off. 12th fret of the third string, another bend, release, and pull off. And slide down to 9th. Alright, so that's a quick and smooth motion. And I've only plucked once. And that lick in total. Now the final lick starts on the end beat after 1. We're going to pluck that 9th fret, hammer on to 10th. 10th fret of the second, 13th, and then 12th fret of the first string. So 1 and that's it for the first line of tab, which sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 1. For the next line of tab, we're going to go 13th fret of the first string, pull off to 12th and 10th, and then 13th fret of the second string, bend, and hold that up there. For the next bar, go up to 13th fret of the first string, bend, and then 15th fret, bend, slowly release, 13th fret, and then back up to the 15th fret, bend, release, and pull off. So from the 13th fret, bend. Then we're going up to the 17th fret for a 3 semitone bend. Remember the target pitch is the 20th fret, so this is quite a big bend. And then we end on the 12th fret of the first string with your middle finger. And that's going to take us to the next lick. But taking it back, alright, so for the next lick, we've already plucked that 12th fret of the first string. Now we need to hammer on to the 13th, pull off, alright? And that's the rhythm, da, 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 da. And we do that again. So we're playing that hammer on, pull off twice. Then 13th fret of the second string, bend, release, 10th fret of the first, 13th fret of the second, pluck it and pull off. And then 12th fret of the third string, bend, release, and pull off. And then 12th fret of the fourth string, use your index finger to bar across the 10th frets of the third and second, and hit a double stop there. So I'll take it back. For the next lick, 12th fret of the fourth string, 10th fret of the second, 13th with your pinky, pull off to 10th, 12th fret of the third string, bend, release, pull off, and then quickly 12th fret of the fourth string. So taking it back for that lick, and taking it all the way back from the end of the second line of tab. For the final bar, we're going to do a few bends. So 13th fret of the second string. Now, what we do is we hold it out for a little bit and then bend. Now, this starts on the end beat after 1. So 1 and... So notice how I held it and then I bent it up. 1. Do the same thing on 15th. Back to 13th, same thing. So this final bar. 1, 2. So that's it for the third line of tab, which sounds like this from the end of the second line of tab. For the next line of tab, we're going to go 12th fret of the third string. Now this is on the 2 beat, so 1 and 2. bend, release, and bend up. So for the next lick, 13th fret of the second string, bend, and then 10th fret of the first, 13th, 10th, 12th fret of the third string, and then bend and release, pull off, slide down to 9th. So the last bit is bend, release, pull off, slide, and the lick in total. A bit slower. We hold that out in the final bar on the end beat after 1. We go 10th fret, 10th fret of the second string, and then 13th fret, bend, and slowly get up to pitch. Hold that for the rest of the bar. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and this is the line of tab in total. For the next line of tab, we go 10th fret of the first string, 13th fret of the second string, and we're going to bend and release twice, pull off to the 10th, right? So, and then back up to 13th fret. We're going to have our index finger on the 10th fret of the first string too. Hit these two strings, bend, and 10th fret of the third string. So, for the next lick, 12th fret, 11th fret of the second string, 10th fret of the first string. So that step again, 12th fret, 13th, bend, 15th fret, bend, 17th fret, 3 semitone bend, and then up to 20th fret for a bend. So taking it back from the step. And the line of tab in total. For the final line of tab, 12th fret of the third string, we're going to hit this and bend and release twice. And then 13th fret of the second string, up to 10th fret of the first. Right. Then 10th fret of the second string, 13th, 10th, and then 10th fret of the second string, hammer on to 13th. Right, so that lick. Then the next run is just a bunch of pull-offs. So we're gonna hit the 13th fret of the first string and pull off to 10th. And we're gonna pluck that 3 times and do the pull off 3 times. We're gonna do the same on the second string twice. Same on the third string, but 12th fret to 10th fret. And then 12th fret of the fourth string, 10th fret of the fourth. Alright, so from the first pull off. Alright, and then for the final lick, we go to the 5th fret of the 4th string. This is on the end beat after 1, so 1 and 6th fret, 7th, 5th fret of the 3rd, 7th, 5th fret of the 2nd string, and hammer on to 6th. So that whole lick, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and this line of tab in total. And that is everything for solo number 2, which sounds like this. Then we get to verse number 3, which I'm going to play very similarly to verse number 1. The only difference is I'm going to come back in on the A7 chord instead of playing the first 2 bars of the D minor. And we cut out the final bar as well. So there's only 11 bars of music here, and it jumps straight to the outro. The outro was essentially the first 2 lines of tab for the intro, and that's everything for the single version of Black Magic Woman by Santana, originally written, of course, by Fleetwood Mac. So now I'm going to be doing a full playthrough of this song, the single version, along with a backing track for some context. A big thanks to my friend Eric for lending his awesome vocals to this playthrough. Now, if you did find this song maybe a little bit too tricky and you want some quick guitar wins, then be sure to check out my free PDF guide, 10 legendary songs with 3 chords or less. It's a great way to build up your repertoire whilst having fun and not feeling too overwhelmed. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Feel free to play this back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons here. Or if you want some easy guitar wins, then I've put together a free guide with 10 legendary songs you can play with just 3 chords or less. You can grab that by clicking below. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.